Get in here.
In here.
Sorry, actually, I'm going to give me another shot. I was turning on auto producer real quick because that, at the moment, still is a very important friend of ours. Get in here. It's the pod. It's the Purvcast. We're back in here. We're excited. Super stoked. I sat down here and kind of was like, oh, yes.
Yeah.
Just immediately stoked, man.
Awesome deer camp. Awesome Thanksgiving break.
Absolutely. Yep.
But we're past those 2 weeks now, and here we are.
For sure. Actually,
it's good to be back in here.
Ended up taking a break from our favorite thing also. Kind of assumed that it would happen just through everything that takes place when you have a family as massive as ours. It's kind of inevitable. And we had everybody in town, like all...
That was unprecedented.
Very
Hasn't
much
happened
so.
in like, I don't know, what, 3-4 years? Like,
gosh, dude, it's probably more than 4.
Since before COVID.
It was before COVID. I don't know when the last time that happened was. But it's been such a long time. Anyway, we got...
That's like a new landmark now. It's like you hear people say, oh, that was pre-9/11, right?
Yeah.
And then...
Pre-COVID.
That's pre-COVID. So that's like the new thing to like mark a landmark in time.
But I'm so terrible with time and like estimating durations that like they're like, that was pre-COVID. And I'm like... Was that 18 months ago? I don't know, dude. I'm just not good with that sort of thing. But I knew we wouldn't probably get a. It just took the break for the.
It's hard to believe it was like
week.
4 years ago.
Yeah, that's insane. That's because now, well,
coming up on.
You had a COVID baby, which was a big deal, and
good old Nancy boy.
Yep, and he's now 3. And a couple months.
3 going on 20.
3 going on kick your ass.
No kidding.
But, which is wild, because that was in the thick of it.
Yeah.
You know, and there were, I'm sure, a lot of people were like, what are you, an animal, bringing a child into this COVID-ridden world? You know? And then, I mean, even our youngest was, I guess, still kind of, certainly her pregnancy was hanging on to the last part of it, but that seems, it's a landmark.
But that was awesome to get everybody together and get the family in. Love each and every one of them. It was great to see some of the people I hadn't seen in a while. Hadn't seen Susanna in quite a while.
Yep.
And her family hadn't seen Charity in quite a while.
Yeah.
You know, shout out Charity, shout out Susanna, shout out Crystal. I hadn't seen Crystal in a long time, so it was great to see all of them. Not that anyone else that I saw there was any less important. You know, they're all great. Love them all. But
they might have just been a more frequent sighting.
Yeah, but just being able to see some of those faces I hadn't laid eyeballs on in a long time was really refreshing, and really missed Randy, man. But
for sure,
I think he's coming here in a week or two. So
yeah, I think he'll be around. I got
to get him on the pod.
I got to try to get him in here, dude. That would be a absolute trip. I have a microphone ready to set up right there on that wall. So that this is just a trifecta of
I love it.
Nonsense.
Yes.
So that, that's...
like, our listeners would get a kick out of Randy, man.
They would. Yeah. They'd love... He'd be a fan.
He has so many good stories.
Yeah. He could just...
We may have to blur his face out, but...
yeah, for sure. Just wind him up and let him go, dude.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that family and everything took precedent last week. That took priority last week. And I just... You know what? We're going to let it roll. We ended up, the time that we would ordinarily be recording, my daughter was throwing up nonstop. Our secondary time that we would usually be recording, we were all at Silver Dollar City, the 4 brothers, our wives, and our children, which was also cool.
They loved it.
For sure. It's a good time. It's a lot more fun when there's less people there, because I am like... prior to having children, dude, I could handle crowds just like all day long, every day. And now I have kids. It really I get so anxious.
Nerve-wracking.
For sure. But
Did I tell you when we were leaving? Okay, so we stayed there until 9:00.
Oh, you guys stuck it out for the duration.
We shut that place down.
Yeah, no doubt.
And so we were walking out, and Stacy and a couple of the kids wanted to grab a souvenir or something, something they had their eyes on the last few times we've been in there. So there's a little bit of Christmas shopping. You know how they have those shops on the way out, right?
Sure,
there's 2 of them. There's one kind of up top, and there's one right as you're getting ready to leave.
Yeah, there's one that actually irritates me with the placement of it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, this is...
It forces you to walk through all of their paraphernalia on your way out.
And it's not even that. Like, I'm down to walk through your stuff.
They put all the stuff that your kids are going to try to grab on the way out.
Well, yes.
Right beside the aisles, so it's just a fight.
That, and it's the same way leaving the Wonders of Wildlife.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But that particular design, the way it is... You ever heard
Daddy,
of,
I need these 25 fluffies.
These 25 fluffies, but then also let's take these 125,000 people or however many
and
are
cram
in
them
here.
into this tiny little passageway.
Exactly, dude.
Yeah.
It's it is, if you look up in the Merriam-Webster dictionary, the definition of a
Cluster.
bottleneck.
Oh, okay. All right.
The description is the exit established by Silver Dollar City as a means for their guests to exit the park and get to their vehicles.
Yeah.
That is bottleneck.
Yeah.
So
we survived the bottleneck.
Right, okay.
But going back to what I was going to tell you, and your nervousness of like having your little kids there in the big crowd and losing them possibly, which I know that's probably the number one, nerve-wracking thing.
I actually think the reason that's such a big deal for me is because I got lost at Silver Dollar City as a kid.
lived this.
I lived this for like
You know the terror.
a couple hours.
Yeah.
Because
I remember we left you at church a couple times too.
but those were on purpose. That was deliberate, dude. That's not a big deal. I can handle that,
Yeah, this kid needs a lot more church. We're just going to leave him here for the week.
Sure, dude. Yeah.
But there were I saw two separate moms like running through there.
Yeah.
Right. And it was very crowded. So to run through there is a feat in and of itself.
Yeah.
And they like ran to like the guest services desk in there.
No.
And I was just standing there with my kids while they, shopped. And
Going, haha, I have mine. No,
I know. And
that's
like,
terrible.
I was like, all right, I got to see what's going on here. And she runs up there and she's like, so you have them? You found them? And I guess her kids had gotten lost and they weren't even that big. Like they were, probably 3, 4, 5, something like that. And her two kids were like standing there at the guest services counter, and like there was a security guy with them,
dude.
And she just had this just sheer panic look.
Absolutely, yeah.
She was absolutely tripping,
dude.
So I thought to myself, I'm like, man, I'm glad we're not in that boat
for sure. That's the thing that like spooks me, because when I was a kid, I was supposed to be hanging with actually Susanna and one of her friends, and they went into I don't know, the big crawl through play place that they used to have with like the ball pit and all this different stuff. But I was supposed to be hanging with them. Well, girls develop faster than boys, and they were like both much more athletic and just capable than I was. So they just like peace. And then
See you later, dude.
Yeah, I get out of there, don't know where I'm at, can't find my family, wander around for like a while, and then eventually like I guess I had the wherewithal to just go to I don't think it was guest services. I just found somebody dressed up in old-timey stuff and was like, I don't have my family. They were like, then,
And he was like, I'm a blacksmith, kid.
Yeah.
I don't have time for this.
I was like,
I've got horseshoes to make.
Yeah. I was like, I don't have my family. And he's like, want a pocket knife?
Yeah. That'll be $3,000.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Though that crowd was intense, dude. I don't know what the capacity of.
I was just looking that up when we went there. And so I looked up on my phone because, we sat in traffic basically, for 45 minutes before we even got in there.
Sure, yeah.
So I was thinking to myself, I'm like, man, this is going to be crazy. And it was pretty bad. I've seen it worse, but it was pretty bad. And
getting close to Christmas is bad news.
Yeah, I mean, everybody wants to go see the lights down there. It's pretty cool to see. But it said that, and I Googled what was the capacity of Silver Dollar City, and it said like 9,000 to 10,000. And I thought there's absolutely no way. Then I read some more, and it's like, yeah, but the daily during peak visiting time, the daily visitors are like somewhere like in the 20,000 range, 18 to 20,000 range. I'm like, wait, so capacity is 9 to 10,000, but we have 20,000 people in there on the day. I would. Okay, and here's the thing. It was very. The article I read, it was like the information was almost purposefully deceptive, and I'm
to not get.
I'm wondering if they are running over on their like fire marshal codes and just like fudging the numbers.
I would guarantee it. I promise you.
Think about if everybody was trying to get out of there at the same time with those bottlenecks that they have.
There's no.
It's like you're gonna have people dying in stampedes because it's just all this 25.
Dolly Parton's gonna have a heyday.
Hold on, look at the parking lot sizes.
Yeah, dude.
Compare it to Arrowhead.
Yep. I'm telling you, man.
It's pretty similar.
We're pretty dadgum close here. And there's no... So I'm thinking that there's a loophole here, all right?
So it's like capacity's 9,000, 10,000. We've got 65,000 people in the park. Shh, don't say anything.
I promise you there's 65,000 people in that.
Like they're going to freaking turn somebody away and be like, nope, we're full.
Nope, your money's no good here.
Yeah.
You know? So I promise you they do, and here's how they squeak by on this, all right? It's either 9 to 10,000. 9 to 10,000 is loud.
Keep in mind here, guys, we are not trying to get sued by Silver Dollar City for defaming
No.
them.
We're propping them up for having a good product.
Yeah, they have a great product. What we are curious about is, like, what are the actual numbers?
For sure.
And what's, like, the safe capacity there?
Yeah.
Because when you get to the point where you can't even walk through the park, like, you're just... Because it wasn't like this last time, but I think it was last year, the year before... We got into some places where we could not move.
Yeah.
It was just shoulder to shoulder.
Don't have a stroller. You're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And this is a massive outdoor complex. Mm-hmm. Absolutely massive. Like walking miles every time you go. But I guarantee you, dude, that it is somehow that whatever the regulations are for how many they could have is probably like when they say 9 to 10,000, maybe that is per hour coming in the gate. Okay, or also...
I didn't read that far into the article, but yeah, it could be.
I might do a little reading. Now I'm curious on it. I'm also wondering if, they have all these different areas, right? So the Grand Exposition, all this different kind of stuff. That's
the place where all the throw-up is.
Yeah.
Like you just walk through there and you just see like little piles of throw-up everywhere.
Yeah, for sure. And that's from all the dads riding the teacups with their little girls.
All the super spinner rides.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Yeah, but I like this area could have like capacity is 9 or 10,000. This area is 9 or 10,000.
That'd be interesting to see.
I'm certain because, dude, I would bet I've been to enough Chiefs games that I would bet.
If you look at the parking lots, like it's maybe not quite as much parking as at Arrowhead and Kaufman, but like
not
it's at
far,
least,
dude.
It's at least half.
Absolutely.
At least half. So,
So I'm just, I don't know. I got to read. That's interesting because now I'm like,
and they have a bunch of shuttle services too that bring people like from Branson
for sure. Yeah, from their
Silver Dollar City
resort or their hotel or whatever it might be, which is, that just adds to it even more. Right. But it was fun. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was good.
I definitely prefer going on like a random Tuesday in the middle of no time special. Just.
It's a lot funner, and you don't have the lines. But speaking of lines, I have to tell you this because we talked about this right before you guys left.
Right.
And so, like, the entire evening we were there, like, I had the app on my phone. It would tell you how long the wait was for each ride.
Right, yeah.
And almost the entire time, and Ella, my oldest, she's basically tall enough now she can ride everything. And that's a pretty...
Suddenly, it's freedom.
Yeah, dude. Suddenly it's like, this place is way cooler.
For sure.
And so she wanted to ride as much as she could. And I was trying to help her with that, obviously, but also be, a good dad and, like, make sure all my other smaller kids were taken care of.
Yeah.
And mommy wasn't too stressed. But anyway, she told me, she's like, I really want to ride Outlaw Run with you. And earlier in the night, it was like 200 minutes was the wait time, right? So,
right.
Just the next 3 hours, right?
Yeah, which I was going to say, for your average Purvcast listener, we know you need the breakdown. That's it's 3 hours,
over 3 hours,
20 minutes.
3 hours and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So we're not obviously doing a 200-minute wait.
Yeah.
But then, like right after you guys left, and we were kind of hanging out up there, I pulled up the wait times, and it got down to like 20 minutes on Outlaw Run. And so I told Ella that, and she's like, "We gotta go, Daddy. We gotta go." So we did. We went, and we were in line for, I don't know, 25, 30 minutes. Got on there, and dude, that ride, that was the first time I'd been on it. Apparently, she had been on it before earlier this year with some of her cousins and like, I think Steven, Uncle Steven, and
you hadn't been on it.
I hadn't been on it.
Oh my gosh,
and like
in the dark.
Oh my gosh, man, that was absolutely insane. And I have to say, so you jump on there, you go up the hill like immediately.
Yeah,
it's like clickety clack up the hill, right? And then
you're like, this is some old school.
Yeah. And that's a tall
Dude.
coaster hill. We get up there, and on almost every single, I have to hand it to him, on almost every single coaster, if you've been on them, you go up, clickety clack up the hill, and then you release, and you kind of start out slow because the rest of the train behind you is having to make the rest of the ascent before
that, or they
rolling.
intentionally send you on a little like dip and slow down,
Right. But that one, it's got, you get up there and then you drop actually for a pretty good, it's got a little drop in the middle.
Right.
So the coaster actually starts to speed up right there.
Yeah.
So as you round the top before you really go down, you build some speed up so that when you hit that apex, you're already going pretty fast.
Yeah, yeah.
Instead of it being like you get to the apex and you're kind of slow and then you go.
Yeah.
You're like starting to already feel it, and then you pull those outside G's.
Yep.
And then you're like outside G's to weightlessness.
Yep.
And dude, that was absolutely intense.
Hey, dude,
that was nicely done.
We had the same first experience on that ride. Now, I rode it by myself, but still, you rode it in the. I have no friends.
I'm just kidding.
But in the dark.
Yeah.
First time in the dark.
The darkness is crazy because
it's insane. You don't know,
like that's deprivation of the senses.
Yeah, dude.
You're feeling all this crazy stuff going on, but you can't really even see where you're going, and it's wild.
And you're hearing a wooden coaster, below you, because it is the most intense, crazy. I think it's the first wooden coaster in the world to go upside down, however many times.
Yeah, and it does it a number of times.
Oh yeah, and pull a certain amount of like outside G's,
right?
Where you can actually hear the wood and steel like trying to hold on, which is cool. It's fun, but yeah, I can. I'm right there with you on that experience for the first time doing it in the dark. It's wild, and then you go ride it in the daylight, and I think you like end up appreciating it even more because you're actually seeing these nailed and screwed together wood structures that your life is depending on with massive forces being applied.
I really hope that they
over-enginered it.
Yeah.
I'm sure they did, but honestly, dude,
it was a heck of a ride.
So
I wouldn't bore people with talking about rides.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
On the podcast, but that one was pretty wild.
Yeah, pretty wild, and it's insane because it's wooden.
Yeah,
it's wooden,
and and I got to ride it with one of my kids, and
which is
that's
awesome,
a pretty
That's
fun
so cool.
thing. Ella, when we got to the very end of the track, which right at the end, there's like a triple corkscrew upside down deal.
Yeah,
and
a wine bottle opener.
Yeah, that's what it reminded me of.
Yeah.
And so we get down to the end, and Ella, I look over to Ella because like the whole time she's just like squeezing my hand. I look over to Ella, and like her head is just down like this, and and I'm like, whoa, did she just pass out or something?
Yeah, no doubt.
So I like shake her shoulder. I'm like, are you okay? And she's like, yeah, I'm fine. She's like, it was getting so crazy, I just had to put my head down and close my eyes.
Oh, dude. That's a lot.
We get off the coaster, and she's kind of wobbling around a little bit.
Sure, dude.
She's a little woozy.
Oh, I can get that, man.
That was fun.
That's wild, dude.
So that was our Thanksgiving break.
Yep.
We did obviously the family thing. We had the Awesome time at SDC and
Yep.
but then before that, the week before that, we missed that, and that was deer camp, which we usually
I threw out the Chaos Pod episode 2, which a lot of people were like, the Chaos Pod was like amazing.
Yeah.
So
bring back the Chaos Pod.
Yeah.
But that was what, I was just wanting to say, like, we missed that pod that week of deer camp, but we gained like one of our favorite activities every year.
For sure.
Deer camp, such a great time.
Yeah. Even getting skunked at deer camp for not as a group, but personally,
you got skunked. I got skunked as well, but I can't feel bad about it because I passed up at least, I think I had 4 shots that I passed on. One was, which I don't want to bore you with the details, but basically I had the only shot that I probably would have taken was on that 6-point.
Right.
That was like opening morning, like within an hour of opening, first light.
And sure as fire, if you had shot that dude, you would have had a clear opportunity at a 12 and been like, I already filled my.
Well, and it also was the entire time that I had my gun up on it. It was like the only shot I ever had was straight up its butt. I remember. I never had a broadside.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that. Yeah.
So that was like the first one, and then I had this later that night. I had a spike buck walk out. I just looked at it through my scope. Saw it was spike buck. Said I'm not going to shoot that.
Yeah.
Then the next day, I think actually 2 days later, I saw the same spike buck in the morning.
Yeah.
Monday morning, I saw the same spike buck walk out. Like, it had to have been the same.
Had to have been the same one.
And
same area, same body, same horn, same everything.
Yeah, I watched him for like 20 minutes. And I'm like, I passed up on you on Saturday. I'm not going to shoot you now.
Yeah.
So, but I could have shot him. And then the one that I'm very, I'm kind of regretting not being able to shoot was the doe that I saw on Tuesday morning.
Right.
A couple hours before Justin shot his nice trophy rack.
Yeah.
And that doe was a nice sized doe, and it, I had a shot for just a wee little tiny bit. Didn't have my gun up. When I did get my gun up, she kind of
scurried off.
She noticed me, and she's same thing. Had a butt shot.
Yeah.
And then just turned broadside for just a second, but it was right in that super super thick stuff behind the blind.
Oh yeah.
Behind Justin's party blind.
For sure.
And it was like I could just see her head, and that was it. I'm like, man, I don't want to take a bad shot because like tracking through all that, with who knows where you shot it, like I don't know, man. So I passed up.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
4 shots, but like I feel good about all of them on passing on them.
Yeah,
because the last thing you want to do is shoot a deer, wound it, and then not find it.
For sure.
So
or shoot something and walk up to it and go, damn it,
I shouldn't have shot that.
Yeah, like that's not the feeling.
Like a little button buck or spike buck. Yeah,
for sure.
Really want to take those.
But I think I honestly, truly maybe had one opportunity, very quick opportunity, but it really is just, dude, I want to kill a deer, and I'll have more opportunities with
this year,
but truly the big thing, dude, is I love deer hunting more so because I get to spend the time with my brothers and my friends and a lot of
shout out to Keith and Rick for being
absolutely
for being the trailblazers on deer camp.
Yeah, absolutely, for having done this for forever and then sharing it with us, and then just like or sharing it with you, and then you shared it with me, and then we just kind of went to our closest group of friends and family, which has become just an absolute highlight, dude. Even if I don't get one, it's like I am still so ecstatic just because I know that I'm going to get to be with my closest friends in the world for, at minimum a couple days and a couple nights. And it's good, solid time, something that a man needs, deer camp.
Yeah. And I think, it's an invaluable skill to learn how to, and people always
absolutely
poo-poo it, and they're like, oh yeah, you're just sitting there, shooting a defenseless animal from, it's like, all right, you try to go out and do it.
Yeah. For sure.
Let's see how you do.
Go do what I did for 3 days and
sit there, and freeze your butt off, and
sure.
be totally still, and wait for your chance. And when that chance comes, you've gone from 0 for 3 days to within 5 seconds, you got to get your rifle down and take a good shot.
While you have the adrenaline dump of a lifetime.
Yeah, exactly.
And you are shaking like a madman.
Yeah, you got
and all of a sudden, your body goes, oh, you've been away from home and haven't pooped for a couple days.
Now it's time.
You got this adrenaline dump. Let's poop now. And you're like, no, I got to shoot this deer.
Dude,
you know?
That's a real thing. That's a real thing.
It's super real, man.
But you also get to, but it's another factor is, spending the time with family, friends.
Yeah.
And, it's not just the time in the deer woods that we spend, which is awesome. Cause like this year we got to spend for the first time ever. And I wanted to talk about this on the pod for the first time ever. Cause me, you, our other two brothers, Justin and Andrew, have spent thousands of hours together fishing together. The four of us fishing together, and we love every moment of it. But that was the first time this deer season was the first time we've ever had the four of us in one blind. Went to Jay's party blind. And we had like north, south, east, west. We had it covered. It was a pillbox in there.
4 ways.
But we got to hunt that whole afternoon and evening hunt together. And that was a first that we'd had the four of us together hunting. And that was really special. Wouldn't trade it for anything. It would have been a little cooler if one of us would have shot one that evening. But it was still, it's not just about that. It's about those memories. It's about spending time together.
It also tells you a little bit about like going back to what I was saying about kind of like what our deer camp situation is all about truly, which is like, ordinarily you're like, odds are, hey, we need to spread out, maybe increase our chances by having more eyes in different
we do
different places, and we do.
Right.
But when you get the chance,
an opportunity
we had,
like that,
and you have a blind that can do
the big
house, all four of us. Like that is something that you do and you don't pass it up. And I will think about that for forever. Like that was just, dude, it was such a stellar time.
Jay took his pants off. So I have to tell you this story because this is so funny. So we're out there in the blind, and keep in mind in November in Missouri, most of the time it's fairly chilly, fairly cold, especially in the mornings when you get out there.
In years past, we've
bundled up,
gotten up, and walked into a blind at 10 degrees for sure.
Yeah,
anybody that lives here knows it.
So you got the hot hands. You're just ready for the cold weather.
Sure.
So
hot hands down the front of your pants, hot hands down the back of your pants, in your boots.
I got 3rd-degree burns from my hot hands, but
yeah, for sure. But at least you weren't cold.
Yeah, exactly. But the point is, it's always you're always geared up for the cold weather.
Yeah.
Well, this entire deer camp, I think the coldest morning was like maybe 28 degrees,
which is so warm.
Yeah, and
for what you're planning on wearing.
Yeah, and that was at the low. So during the day, it would get up to like mid 60s,
65. Yeah.
And we were sitting in the blind. The sun comes down in the afternoon sky, and it's just shining right in the blind.
Right.
And like everybody was taking all their stuff, their gear off, right? Their outer gear off. And so, we were going down to like our shirts or just a short sleeve t-shirt with our orange on.
Yep. Pair of jeans, and that's it.
Jay, he's getting so hot over there. He's just like beating sweat, right? Because he's sitting there just staring right into the sun.
And half the reason that we didn't kill a deer is probably because he wouldn't stop going, dude, it's getting so hot. I'm just burning up, dude. All the sunshine. All the sunshine right in my face, dude.
He's like,
it's just so much.
He's like, this is the first time I'm ever going to go deer hunting and get a sunburn while I'm deer hunting.
Sure, yeah.
Which that was hilarious. But he starts taking off clothes. But we all did the same thing. But we kind of stopped at like the bottom layer, right?
Yeah.
Of our clothes. Nope, not Jay. He goes down. He takes his shirt off completely. So he's got nothing on except he's topless except he's got a hunter orange vest on. And then he takes his he's got long handles on, like long johns on.
Right.
So he takes his pants completely off.
Totally down,
So he's sitting there in his long johns, which he has rolled up to like his knees. So he's got nothing on but long johns rolled up to his knees, no shirt, and an orange vest on. I'm telling you what, and no shoes and no socks.
Oh, and his beanie was sitting like on the crown of his head.
Yeah.
Kind of like
just because you have to have orange on your head.
Just sitting high.
Yeah. It was hilarious, man. And he's still just over there pouring sweat.
For sure, man. Could you imagine if in that situation, like let's say we weren't just hunting where we were, like let's say we're out west or something like that, and there's a bull elk that comes up and just is pissed that you're sitting there and he can, because they get real aggressive at times.
Yeah.
And and he gets charged with his long johns around his knees and no shirt, no boots on, just in the buff essentially,
running for his life with basically just a Hunter orange vest on and nothing else.
I could see that happening to him, like
totally.
Oh, dude, I could see that happening to him.
That's like a TK and Mike video.
That's a total that's a JK. And
if you haven't seen TK and Mike, look it up.
Yeah, that's good old school, YouTube. Hilarious outdoor hobby comedy.
That was good
is
stuff.
What that was.
Great stuff.
Yeah.
So all in all, just to put a summary on that.
Yeah.
Awesome time at deer camp. Wouldn't change anything. We had a great time back at the camp. So we would go back to our campsite every night and we make
delicious
great food. We had multiple times we made like we had deer backstrap and we had fresh deer backstrap like a couple hours, like that animal was walking around a few hours ago and now we're eating the most delicious cuts of meat off of it.
Dude.
So and like the way that you marinated it, dude, that was probably the best deer backstrap I have ever had. And we were working with very basic ingredients. We didn't have a whole lot of fancy stuff.
Right.
And just slapping it on the grill there for a bit, like that was so good. We had hot and a lot.
Yep.
I mean, which we've talked about on the spot before.
For sure, yeah. Love that stuff. Honestly, like
we feasted.
We did.
The whole weekend.
We feasted, and we feasted on food and feasted on company. Yeah. That was just fantastic.
I had just gut loaded that night, Sunday night, with deer back strap, and the burgers and brats. And I was gut loaded. Andrew goes, we're sitting around the fire. Andrew goes, hey man, you want to go in there and fire up some of that popcorn? We had brought a bunch of microwave popcorn. So I go in the camper and I made like 4 or 5 bags of microwave popcorn. I go out there. Andrew takes like the Frank's Red Hot.
Dude,
and pours it in the popcorn and shakes it up. That was the first time I've ever had hot sauce on popcorn. That was awesome, dude.
It's so good.
It's a game changer.
It's also a game changer because it makes for a extremely flatulent environment.
Yes.
Everybody that is around is, it's just anybody that partook is absolutely going to be just cutting ass. It's going to happen. It's wild. But it was delicious. In fact,
that's why we didn't see any deer that next day.
Yeah, probably, dude, because we all stunk like bottom.
Yeah. That deer's like, I smell Frank's Red Hot.
Yeah. I ain't going near that. I know a lot of people like to put that on me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that was awesome. So good summary there. Last couple weeks, really actually that whole deer camp / Thanksgiving time. That's one of my favorite 2 weeks of the
such a nice run
year.
Yeah, for sure. And I actually did take the lapel mics and the equipment too.
By the way,
actually I brought everything to deer camp, and then even though I know that we're all going to sit down and visit more on the podcast, it's tough to just take that 30 minutes even out of hanging out to stop and set it up.
Right.
And then every little bit of time is precious. So then you lose an hour taking it or 30 minutes taking it down too, and so it's like, man, I want to just maximize this time here, hang out. So I had intended on doing a little something there at deer camp, but hey, didn't happen.
We'll get it. Maybe crappie camp.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
And shout out to Jay. We didn't really talk too much about this, but shout out to Jay. One of the best shots I've ever seen. I was sitting in the blind with him, so I can confirm it's not just BS. He shot was it an 11 point?
I thought it was an 11, yeah.
I think it was an 11 point. He had like one random little devil's horn sticking out
right, yeah,
on one side. It was actually a really cool deer that he shot, and it was just a big body too.
Yeah.
But I saw him come out from left to right across that field. Came out from the woods that go down to the river down there.
For sure.
And he started going across, but he was moving at a pretty good clip. So Justin and I start yelling, hollering, trying to get him to slow down. And he never stopped, but he did slow his gait just a little bit.
Going,
he was what? He was trying to be like, what's going on? And then that slowed down just enough where Jay took a shot. Because if he went any farther, it was just going to get it farther and farther away on
for sure.
shot.
Yeah.
It turned out we measured it off as 297 yards moving. Moving target, 297 yards.
That's insane.
Pretty good shot.
Yeah. Yeah, and no offense, I'm not trying to...
It doesn't hurt to have a 300 win.
I was going to say, not to discount Justin's shot, but you don't do that without the gun he has.
The gun helps a lot with that.
Yeah.
And he has got the Vortex possible sponsor of the show, Vortex Scopes.
Please.
This pretty
Any
sweet.
manufacturer of a 300 Win Mag.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We'll take Browning
Absolutely.
or Vortex. So
get in here.
We're talking about you guys right now. But yeah, it was a great shot. Pretty good equipment too. But just so neat. Because just a few hours before that, because we were down to the last day.
For sure.
That was the last day.
Yeah, y'all were resilient in that for sure. Because it was, it
was tough there. Sunday and Monday it got really tough. So Tuesday we're out there, and Jay was kind of getting a little negative. He's just like, he's like,
there's no deer in here.
No, he's like, man, this is 2 years in a row where I'm getting skunked. He's like, I've had this gun for 2 years. I still haven't blooded it, you know. And I was like, well, there's a lot of hunting time left, and then a couple hours later, boom, there it is,
That's awesome, man.
And props to him for being willing to take the shot, on something that was not guaranteed at all. So
it helps being able to have that kind of confidence in your equipment too, though.
Yeah, that's a game changer.
Yeah, it's when you line up on something like that and you're like, this gun could kill an elk from a greater distance than I'm sitting at now.
Yeah, and that's a far cry from his Savage.
Where he had
we had to zip tie it to, we had to zip tie the barrel to the stock.
Yeah, that's right.
Because we were out in the deer stand a couple years ago. Yeah. He had that Savage. I think it was like a
30-06.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, it was a 270.
It was a 6.08 or something like that.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Yeah, okay.
6mm .08, if that sounds right. Maybe it was a 7.08. I can't remember. It was a weird caliber.
Yeah.
But anyway,
whatever it was, the barrel and the stock were separate.
Yeah, there's like a couple set bolts that set screws that hold the barrel rings to the stock.
Yeah.
And I guess I don't know when it had happened, maybe gotten jostled around or whatever, but they had fallen out pretty much, and he didn't have the Allen wrenches to.
The front one fell completely
off, and the other one he didn't have the Allen wrench with him to tighten it back up.
Yeah.
So I just pulled my hunting bag out and handed him some zip ties, and he just zip tied the barrel to the stock for the rest of the hunt.
For sure, and I'm pretty sure that I thought he killed a little buck.
No, he did. He shot later that day. That was that doe that he shot.
Okay.
That we looked for 3 hours.
Oh yeah.
At night in the dark. Yeah.
That's that was crazy. Yeah, this is a far cry from that, dude. This is insane.
Yes.
I mean, a whole other level. Nice to be able to drop that though. Congrats, Jay. That's sick. That's awesome.
It's fun.
For sure.
Take a breather.
Yeah, you want to take a breather? Do you want to roll?
I could use to take just a tiny break.
Okay, take a little pee.
Got a little pee.
Sweet. Let's do it. I think we probably got I'll go check. I think we got about 30 minutes of record time left.
Perfect.
So, yep. Sweet.
See ya.